Hello everybody, this is Fernando for the latest Gruesome and Grotesque video. I thought I would mix this one in here while I'm continuing to do your Haunted Dolls and Curses videos. Please keep those suggestions coming. I'll be doing a few more throughout the week. In this case, this was just a random story that was suggested to me by YouTube the other day. I'm guessing either because I've done these type of stories before or the algorithms, you know how YouTube expertly suggests items as recommendations. It brought up this story here that I just knew I had to share. Plus, it ties into a theme that I mentioned in two past videos. In one video, I talked about these three brothers who ended up passing away within a manure pit. And then in another video, I talked about an entire family who actually ended up passing away in a slurry pit. Well, in this story, it involves a mayor, a woman who actually ended up falling into the town's sewage tank. She passed away right there within a 15-foot deep tank of pure human waste. I mean, this is one of the sickest ways to go out. But unfortunately, this happened to her. But it has to do with this. It's with the mayor of a town called Betterton, Maryland. Her name was Monica Myers. And yes, this was the mayor that ended up passing away in a human waste tank. So let's go ahead and let's share that information here. And then I'd love to hear what your thoughts and comments on this are afterwards. By the way, I'll include the link below for the other two stories that I was just mentioning. In case you haven't seen those videos, check them out. And who knows, I may do more of these similar type of videos in the future. So here's what happened. You actually have to go back to March 20th, 1980 to catch this story. I didn't realize it was so far away. Like, in other words, when it comes to the number of years, we're talking 40 years ago. This made finding some of the information here very scarce, but I was able to find some stuff, and so that's what I'm sharing here. It happened at a town called Betterton, Maryland. If you've never heard of it, well, neither have I as well. Tiny town. The population today, in today's days, is 345. That's right. There's not like an extra decimal in there. That's 345 people. Can you imagine what it was in 1980? It was probably less than half that. But yes, that's the population of Betterton, Maryland. I mentioned this in the past before, but I swear there's more people in my apartment complex than in that entire town itself. But on that fateful day, there was a mayor who ended up actually going to a municipal facility, but it's also known as a sewage waste plant. Her name was Monica Myers. She was the mayor of that tiny town. The way the story goes was she was someone who was 70 years old at the time, and this was a almost ritual for her. Like, this was a daily activity. Every single morning, she was there up at the dawn of day, up there at that waste facility. Apparently, she would test the tanks. Like, she would go there, brush the tanks for looking for items involving chlorine and sediment, and then whatever was involved with those tests, she would then pass it along to other people to, I guess, do their thing analysis with it. Again, this made it seem like this was a routine item for her, so much so that she was known to go there by herself on a daily basis, and nobody would have suspected anything. She was the mayor, after all, and there was no inclination of anyone else having to be out there with her, like dual control or other type of situations involving multiple employees. No, it seemed like she had the leisurely freedom to be able to go there on her own. I tried to find pictures of the actual facility from back then. There are none, but I did find at least some of the more current ones, at least with some updates. Like, apparently that facility is getting some upgrades, so these are the closest that you'll get when it comes to those particular the photos tied to this area. But yes, apparently there was a catwalk that would be on top of the tank itself. The vision that I got was this, and it's going to sound a little bizarre, but if you've ever seen the movie Ace Ventura, Pet Detective, you notice how when he climbs up on that giant tank, and then of course there's that shark in the middle, but there's a catwalk that he's walking into above it. That's the impression that I got here. Like, it's a actual almost like a ladder that's laid over the actual tank itself. And then that way anyone can do what they need to do when it comes to that slurry. That's how I saw it was called in one other type of article. But yes, they could go there. They would have to bend down in order to be able to reach whatever they needed to reach from there. And again, that's the impression that I got from Monica Myers, from the mayor, that that's what she would do on a routine basis. Unfortunately, because she was the only witness, we don't know what happened next. It's surmised that somewhere there, right on top of the tank, right on top of that catwalk, she ended up slipping. Maybe she decided to get up and she got up too quickly, or maybe all of a sudden something gave way, like when it came to her knees or something else, or maybe it was a strong gust of wind or something else had distracted her, like let's say a bird all of a sudden flew right towards her, something along the lines. We'll never know. This will just be a mysterious thing pretty much left to her as the only witness, but it caused her to fall right into that human waste. And when I say human waste, I mean 100% human waste. This was a 15-foot deep aeration tank, and it was all the way down, just pure human waste. That's what she fell into. There's no indication of how long she might have been alive. I'm not sure if there's even any autopsy that could prove anything like that. But the summation is this: she may have not had a single chance to get out of it. One of the guys that was actually talking about it, Deputy Buster Blackston, he stated that it's like putty, almost like quicksand. And because of it, there's no firm grip. There's nothing else to grab onto. You're pretty much just waiting as much as you can until eventually energy is gone. And then when that happens, then you're down. And so that's what ended up happening to her. She ended up drowning basically in that 15-foot tank of human waste. Just a horrible, horrible way to go. And there she was again, just doing her routine thing for her mayorally duties, just making sure that she was doing this. I read in one article it was a job that she had done for free, like when it came to doing this additional stuff for that sewage treatment tank on top of her duty roles as a mayor. And then on this fateful day, it just ended up causing her to fall into that van. What a horrible, horrible way to go. No other news though, as far as like what happened to her afterward, like she was buried or cremated or anything like that. So all we have to go by is essentially what happened on that fateful day, March 20th, 1980. It's rare, but if anyone has a chance, a long chance at least, to provide more info on this story, then please post those comments below. Even rarer still, anybody there from Betterton, Maryland? Tiny town. If so, this will be a first when it comes to this channel, with something barely being above 300 people, and I'll have a listener from there. That'll be something. If you have more on the local side to present information on, then please do so below. All right, everybody. Thanks again as always. Take care.